Well, I'm talking now with Chris Robertshaw, and just before we ran the tape, we were just debating what to put on your title, because you're moving around a bit. I mean, you're no longer here. Markle House, that's gone. You've cleared your desk, I understand, already.
Yes, I have, yes.
You've got an interim job for 3 weeks.
3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And in fact, the day of recording, you're going straight into the house in a minute, Keys, should I say, to deal with some issues on that.
Question.
This must be quite crazy, really.
Well, it's a challenge.
And then in 3.5 weeks' time, you get this Minister of Policy and Reform as such, which is in the Cabinet Office, this new position. Where do we start?
It's a new office.
Yeah. Where should we start? How's your time here? You're escalating all these great things. Are you sad to give it up?
Yes, very, very sad. I mean, I've been totally committed to DSC, and a great team of people committed to the changes that we were making. But I know that handing over to Howard, it'll be in safe hands, and the team will carry on with the work that we started. But yes, sad. Equally, looking forward to the challenge offered by the Minister of Cabinet Office. It's a new post. It marks a fundamental change in the Manx government. It marks a strengthening of the centre, and obviously, as you know, a reduction in the number of ministries. And at the point at which we're marking a slight change of step, because, okay, we started slowly at the beginning of this administration. It took time to get up to speed, but as you know from the last budget, that process of rebalancing is accelerating. Now we're moving into, as it were, the next stage, which is continuing with that process, but also looking forward to the future and strategically working out where the Isle of Man will be positioned and how we're going to deal with the big challenges in the middle to long term, and that's effectively what the role is sets out to do. Okay,
let's just take things back. Let's just deal with this first of all. You have been wielding the axe. You've been putting the government. You are the front runner, shall I say, of these changes by bringing in ways that your department was going to handle things in the future, means testing being a huge one that was up there. Do you ever feel yourself under pressure that you were getting isolated a bit? I mean, was it going to be hard to get re-elected, for instance? Do you ever feel any of these things at all, or were you just quite driven by reform?
People don't believe me when I say I'm really not concerned about whether I get re-elected or not. The task I set myself has been from the beginning to know that when I left, I could look back and say, I've done my best. I've done my best for what? I've done my best for the next generation. I think I've said many times, I've had a really good and happy career in business. I came into politics to try to help to make a difference, so that as I became an old fogey, I could look back and say, okay, we've done our best for our children and our grandchildren. And I'm part of the lucky generation, really, where things hardly ever went wrong, and unemployment was low and the economy grew, and don't we want the same thing for our kids?
Could you have fought to stay here in the new merged area? Would that not have interested you?
Oh, I would have been interested to stay. Of course I would. I would have been very happy to do so. But the Chief Minister asked me if I would fulfil this role, and I'm happy to comply with his wishes.
Now let's deal with this next 3.5 weeks. We were all intrigued, and I don't quite get it yet myself. We asked the questions. Why Graham Cogine just couldn't see out his time. What are you going to do in 3.5 weeks that he couldn't do?
Well, it has to be a minister in charge of a department till it disappears at the end of this month. And I think quite understandably, this is my take on it, he wanted to see Howard get into the department. Howard's got a lot of work to do engaging with social care, less social security, and to engage with health. Big task there. The sooner he gets on with it, the better. So I suppose in a quiet way, the sooner I move out of the way, the better, really. And therefore, why not give me DCCL for 3.5 weeks so it disappears?
What are you going to do?
But also, there's a lot of changes in DCCL, the redistribution of the functions, and my new job's going to be all about engaging with all the various departments anyway. So there's a real sense in that, really, when you think about it.
Anything particular you're going to do? I mean, you're winding it down, I understand, but you're not going to sack fire, do something quite radical in
No,
3.5 weeks?
DCCL is contracting as we speak almost every day. If posts come up, people are moving out. Various divisions within the departments are getting ready to move, and I'll just help as much as I can in that process.
What you're being asked today is that the ticketing system for the buses or something?
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to do that.
You're up to speed on it then?
Well, yes, because the ticketing system is part of the whole concept of cards. And if you remember, last Tynwald, there was a question on the floor, a motion, I beg your pardon, on the floor of the House by John Horton about the future of post offices, and I brought it over to the issue of service access cards. And this morning I'll be talking about the symmetry, the symbiosis between cards within, prepayment cards within the post office service and linked to DSC, and the use of cards in ticketing services on the buses. I suppose it's all about and constantly about de-siloing government. In other words, it's no good providing a ticketing system which is just for the buses and the trains, any more than it's acceptable to provide a prepayment system just for benefits. Can we make it all integrated?
Now that's interesting, isn't it? That's quite an idea, to have one card that fits all for different purposes.
Not necessarily one card, but they've got to talk to each other.
Okay.
That's the important thing.
Good luck on that one. Now, let's move on. This new position, reform and all this sort of thing. This is the
Policy
big one.
and reform.
Policy and reform. Let's give it its title, yes. You are working under the Chief Minister on this? Are you his deputy?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not a deputy chief minister. That's not the purpose of the role. My role is to look who's with me. I mean, ISD, human resources, economic advisors department's going to be brought in and made a much more a body that looks at strategic issues beyond the level that it looked at as the Economic Advisors Department. And that's just the start of it. It's strengthening the centre, it's bringing intelligence services into that area so that we can devise carefully strategic positions which they will then convert into policies for the future. So we're positioning the Isle of Man correctly for the middle and long term. That's one part of the job, and that's a big challenge in its own right because of as you've heard me say many times, the demographic time bomb and the costs of health and welfare against the fact that we're a low tax jurisdiction. The other half of the job, I suppose, is driving forward reform in government and making sure that we continue to contract and become a much slimmer organisation. So I'd like to think we'll become both slimmer and smarter.
But by the very nature of it, you'll be sort of talking with these other ministers about their departments and presumably having input and trying to help them slim down, reform, whatever. So if you had a flow chart of the Chief Minister, I can see you next in line and then the other ministers feeding in.
No, we together, I mean, the Chief Minister emphasises this, that now a smaller council, we've really got to become a team, we've got to formulate our policies together. And my function in this regard will be to make sure that the coordination occurs. One of the major weaknesses of government has been this silo approach, and it manifests itself, Paul, in so many different ways, and we've really got to end that. So yeah, there'll be very specific areas where a department has clear and well-defined responsibilities, but also behind that there'll be a need for us to work much more closely together in a coordinated way.
By the very nature of what you just said there, this silo mentality, it's massive to change that, right?
Very
and you
difficult.
are going to go in there and have some input, aren't you, at the end of the day, with these other departments. That's by the very nature of your job, isn't it? Am I missing it here? That
No, that's it. But I
Yeah.
don't think that I'm the only one who's determined to see a silo approach broken down. I mean, my fellow ministers and the Chief Minister, we all share the same approach on this, and we're finding ways to make it work. And I think the Chief Minister said yesterday, this is all about a new post, and we've got to find our way forward carefully. So it's not profoundly predetermined. We have to find ways of making it work together as a team.
Clearly you've been rewarded by the Chief Minister. You've got a gold star. You're on message. You're doing your thing. Is this your sort of position now for the next administration that you would stand up to go to the big chair, to be the Chief Minister? Is this something you have aims for now?
Paul, I swear that I'm not even thinking about the next election. What I am trying to do, if we're going to focus on the next election, is to have done everything I possibly can from my perspective to have put this administration in a strong position so that what we're trying to do becomes respected and that there's a desire to continue with those policies into the next administration, because what we're trying to achieve is so big and so profound, we're not going to do it in one administration. It will, excuse me, it will take two to get it right. It's a massive challenge, the Isle of Man's got, to have a high level of welfare, benefits, health services, remain a caring society, whilst at the same time being determined to have low taxation. And really, we can be a shining example to the world if we can get this right, and I think we're going to do it.